What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome, everybody. It's Thursday night, so you know what time it is. It's time for the Floor is Yours podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. Here at the Floor is Yours, it is our mission, our goal to bring real and relevant conversations to the community to move the community forward. And so tonight, we're going to do exactly that. We're super excited about tonight's talk. And so before we get started, we want to ask everyone to like, share, and subscribe. Tell everybody in your contact list the Floor is Yours podcast is on, and they should be tuning in because they don't want to miss tonight's topic. But I couldn't do it by myself. I got my brother from another mother, the other half of the G Unit is with me tonight. Mr. Gerard Flex, the producer, where is in the house. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, people? I'm here so I don't get fined.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you being here tonight. So tonight we got a great show. Tonight we're going to talk about books, numbers, and body safety talk. And so tonight it's going to be about the kids. But before we get into that, we want to acknowledge that this month the Floor is Yours podcast is going to be celebrating Black women. And so we're going to get started off with a Black woman because we love Black women here on the Floor is Yours podcast. Tonight we have educator and tutor Miss Casey Williams with tonight. Bring the fire. She's been in the industry of helping children for quite a long time now, and she's got a lot to say. So, but herself better than I am. So, Casey, yours.
Hello, good evening, beautiful people. Thank you again for allowing me to have the floor. As stated, I am an educator, I am an advocate, and most importantly, I am a worshiper. And so tonight's conversation is going to be about how to keep your child safe. And the way we keep our children safe is by having these conversations and also to improve our education for our children. Let me see. I'm also a wife. I'm a bonus mom and a founder of a nonprofit organization.
Awesome. We're so excited about this. Education is one of those conversations that I think that we should have more talk around because I think for parents, a lot of times you just think, I get my child up, I give them breakfast, I ship them off to school, the teachers do all the work, the child comes back home, and then that's the end of the story. And if the child is somehow not connecting all the dots, then it's the teacher's fault. So before we get into all of those dynamics, tell us, how did you get into this, this field? What was the thing that made you interested in helping children learn? What excites you about that?
Awesome. So I've always had the passion for children. Just a little background. When I was a kid, I was a family babysitter. So all the children used to come to my house and I used to babysit them. And at the age of 12, the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, your purpose is to teach and nurture children. And so all my life, that's what I've been after. And my family always would say, you're going to go to school, you're going to go to college to be a teacher. I said, absolutely not. So I purposely went to college not to be a teacher. But I love teaching children the skills that they didn't learn in the classroom. Then fast forward unto why tutoring, why starting a tutoring business. I was asked to substitute for 9 weeks in Princeton, Texas. And I stepped into a classroom of 20 kids and only 5 knew how to write and spell their first and last name.
Oh, wow.
Blown away. I went to the administrators and was like, hey, I'm doing a disservice if we cannot help these children. And I knew the way to help, and that was phonics. I grew up, my cousin was my tutor teaching me phonics. But in the curriculum, 3rd grade, you are not learning how to read. You read to learn. So the curriculum doesn't teach phonics. So after figuring it out and requesting to teach some phonics, they allow that to happen for the first 20 minutes of school. And I noticed that it worked. So that's a good thing, but it wasn't enough. So, of course, my entrepreneur spirit was like, hey, I want to do something about it. And so that's when I created Young and Vibrant Tutoring. And then also, and y'all know about school and the public system. You can't talk about Jesus. You can't talk about God. With Young and Vibrant, we talk about it. So I wanted to share my faith. I wanted to let kids know that the reason why I have this energy, the reason why you appreciate my kindness and my love is because of Jesus. It's because of God. So being able just to connect them with that, and the tutoring part, the phonics in class, they don't teach phonics. They teach words, and they allow kids to really graduate in Texas and not know how to read. So I wanted to make the impact. I wanted to make sure that children are getting skills, because I believe that everything could be snatched away from you. Anything traumatic could happen. But when you know how to read books, that can save your life. You know how to open the Bible and read the scripture to give you that motivation. That is what changed your life. So that's how I got involved with starting my own business, my husband, Young and Vibrant Tutoring.
What age groups do you work with?
So from pre-K all the way up to 8th grade. And
okay,
the community,
wow, that's a big gap. Yeah. So when you say phonics, talk to me like I'm a third grader. What is phonics?
Oh, okay, phonics, yes.
Hey, Casey. Hey, while you work on that, Gregory, you're getting a lot of feedback. If you don't mind getting out for a minute, Gregory, you come back in and watch these answers.
It's because I'm light skinned, right, Jerome?
Of course,
yeah.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Casey.
Okay, so phonics, just to break it down as simple as possible, the words that we speak, they have sounds. And so what I do with Young and Vibrant Teacher is teach them the sounds, so that when they hear a word, they can actually sound. So for example, a little one may say, "How do you spell me?" And I'm just like, what do you hear? Me. So with the mix of what they hear and the movement of their mouth, that's the phonics. Those are the skills you learn early in age, so that you can take those skills and now you can read 7-letter words, 8-letter words, because you know the sounds of all the letters.
So that sounds like something that schools already do. Am I misunderstanding that? Is that something extra that you bring in to the curriculum, or schools doing that as well?
Yeah. So school does it, but it's not enough.
Oh, okay.
It's not enough. And then what happens is they're learning that in K through 2nd grade, but some kids aren't catching on. The developmental stage is delayed. Now we have technology, so their attention span. Also, the teachers don't have enough time. Like, for example, for my tutoring, especially for our younger students, the Black and brown students for sure, the mouth movement. So teachers don't got time to maybe look in your face and say, no, make sure your tongue touch the top of your mouth, but they'll teach the phonic sounds. And so where tutoring comes in, I meet them where they are and teach them those sounds. And then I'm able to identify. So the kid will know the phonics, but then I'm realizing, like, hey, you don't know the sound of a long I. So you're unable to spell words that have an I. You're putting E or you're putting A. So then we backtrack and teach them actually, okay, the long I makes this sound.
Okay.
Like that.
So I think you already kind of answered that, but I was going to ask specifically, like, what does that look like if they aren't getting that part of it yet? Like, I don't know, at a 2nd or 3rd grade level, if they're not understanding the phonics part of it, like, what are the characteristics or the signs, if you will, that you can, be able to address that?
Yeah, excuse me. So one of the biggest signs is that children cannot comprehend. So they're so focused on trying to sound out the word, or they're so flustered in their head, I can't read this, this doesn't make sense. So when you ask them to read a sentence and say, what was it about? They can't.
They're so focused on reading and trying to pronounce what they're not even paying attention to the content.
Right. So the decoding part, really, also the confidence, because imagine you in 7th grade and you're struggling with 3-letter words, and what you learned in 1st grade was to sound it out, say the sounds out loud. A 7th grader don't want to do that. So that impacts their confidence.
Wow.
So
Go ahead, Greg.
How often do you run into learning disabilities as you work with kids?
Very often.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Absolutely, very often. I'm so grateful to be in this time where dyslexia is not now deemed of you cannot read. Because when I was in school, you had dyslexia, it's like you're just labeled and you can't read. So everybody had to read to you, or the teacher had to have you sit on the side of the desk and read the problems to you. But actually, now children with dyslexia, they can read. However, there has to be an extra step that a teacher may have to do. Like, for example, they read better when the letters are all to the left side of the board. Uh, and then they also, when it comes to like spacing, instead of writing all the letters together, space them out just a little bit more so that dyslexic brain can be able to process, like, okay, I know what this says. So that's a really big one. And then just, even though they may not, or they may have a hard time reading what's on the paper, but can you hear the sounds?
Wow.
Absolutely. And that
Wow.
leads them to spelling.
So how common
Do
is
do
dyslexia
both your
right
teams
now?
know or understand?
Hey, Gregory. I don't know if something's going on with your sound, like real bad, Gregory. It was good, and then seemed like you moved it, and it did something. Um, and it's kind of delayed with the video. So yeah, just yeah, one more time if you don't mind. But I was going to ask you, Casey, unique name by the way. I like the spelling of that,
Thank
AYSE.
you.
But like how many people? I mean, is it known about how many people are dyslexia?
Yeah. I don't know the exact numbers. However, with the amount of awareness that is happening, it is a going on a epidemic because it's so popular. And also what's happening and what I love about Fort Worth, they're taking initiative even more because children are getting diagnosed with dyslexia later in school. So that's the 6th and 7th grade. So imagine having this issue, struggling to read, and nobody is helping you. And then you find out in the 7th grade.
Yeah.
Um, and so then also a good thing too, I know the numbers are very high because now they are doing assessments like screenings.
Okay.
So if parents don't see the sign or teacher don't see the sign, well, everybody's getting screened. And,
Yeah.
and, and let's be able to figure it out that way.
And when are they starting that type of screening? Is it early on, or was it
Oh,
based
yeah.
off the what?
hmm there's some movement going on with on early on, like in the 1st grade, 2nd grade. So there is some traction going on with that, but then they're also noticing the high numbers that are in that later elementary, that 5th grade, that 6th and 7th grade. But to my understanding, because I am not a dietitian, I cannot diagnose dyslexia. I just read a lot about it. Have friends who actually work with dyslexia students. Um, Lost my train of thought. However, it's popular.
Mhm.
It's very
Pretty
common.
common, yeah. Yeah.
hmm
So let me ask you this about that. Is that something that you have it early, or is it something that develops as you age, or is that in you from your own side of your life?
Yeah, to my understanding, it's something that you have, as your brain is developing,
Yeah.
because it does
Okay.
have to do with the brain science like that. However, it does not mean that you cannot outperform it. It does not mean that you cannot read. It does not
Mm.
mean that, because a lot of people will say, I remember years ago that dyslexia mean that you saw letters backwards.
Right.
And it is like, no, it's more to it. Because some kids see letters and they're kind of like floating a little bit.
Really.
Yeah, so there's so many layers to it. But the main part I focus on, especially when parents come to me, was like, my child's been diagnosed with dyslexia. For one, your child can still read.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And even,
Mm.
yeah, so we just start. So a little backstory, a little bit. So as I told y'all, I never wanted to be a teacher. However, the Holy Spirit spoke to me, was like, your assignment for last year when I taught 3rd grade, and I had 2 dyslexia students in my classroom. And so just from so that was they was in 3rd grade. They've been at the school from kindergarten, 1st and 2nd, labeled as the trouble kid, labeled as don't stay in her seat, labeled all over the place. But let me tell you about when I stepped into her life.
Hmm.
That changed. And so fast forward to when the end of the school year was over, she was texting me saying, "Hey, Miss Williams, I can read." She's reading my text messages.
Mm,
So the power of it is real. It just takes a lot. Oh, and then one more other thing that I don't think that school teachers have the ability or know, but one of my good friends um, work with children who are dyslexia, and she told me, she said, "Hey, when they're getting pulled out the classroom, that therapy they're having, it's intense.
mm,
Okay, their brain is being compacted with a lot. So when they come back to the classroom, they are tired, they are pooped out. So when I learned that, when it was time for them to come back in the classroom, now everybody, it's time to meditate.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
turn the lights
Give me
off.
a moment.
Give them a moment before I try to say, okay, now it's time to read. Now it's time to write. For what? This child is going to give me bad behavior because their brain is need a moment to woosah.
Yeah. So let's talk about a moment, if you will. And out there in the audience, if you got comments or questions, make sure you put them in the chat and we'll get to them. We're talking to Miss Casey Williams. She's an educator. She has her own organization too, where she tutors and helps the youth. But let's talk about a little bit about what does that treatment or the therapy look like? Or what does it consist of? I know you can't cover all of it, but just give us an
Yeah.
idea of your perspective.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know the whole process of it all. That is for an expert,
Yeah.
for sure. But there are wonderful programs out that definitely will direct. Let me think about how I can best answer from my experience, because I do more of the tutoring part.
Okay.
So yeah, so it is intense. There are programs out. What it looks like too is meeting the child where they are.
Mm.
So for example, some of my tutoring students have been diagnosed with dyslexia, so they have a IEP, and so that's the individual educational plan.
Mm-hmm.
So when they come into tutoring, it may say this child knows all their vowels, their short sounds, but they're struggling with their long sounds. So then I take that information, like, okay, hey, let's focus on our long vowels, or it may be spelling. So the child mastered 10 words out of 100 during their dyslexia therapy. And so when they come in tutoring, I'm able to see, okay, what they mastered, what they didn't, and we just work on those skills. And then they go back into the classroom, and then the teacher's like, how did you learn that? We say young and vibrant tutoring.
I like it.
So Gregory, we were just talking about some of what that therapy could look like, and other things too, like what it's something that's not necessarily that it develops later, but it's something that they're born with, that they have to try to master and address as they get older. So I'm glad you're back.
I'm glad to be back. And so, because I didn't want to miss this conversation, we're all parents here. And so it is important for us to make that bridge between the parent and the teacher. So what are some of the best ways that a parent can assist their child in development? Because at the end of the day, right, you've worked all day, the child's been at school all day, both of you are exhausted. Neither one of you wants a second job to come home to and have to do more work. So what are some of the best ways a parent can help their student stay energized about studying, to show them the long-term benefits of studying? What would you recommend?
Absolutely. So I'm going to start off before the baby is even birthed. When that baby is in the womb, you reading to that child, that's already creating that experience of learning in words and vocabulary. So I would say, for starting right there, for any moms who are listening in, when you are pregnant, read to your child. When also too, fathers, read to the baby while they're in the room, because they're hearing those sounds. Their brain is being developed. So I would say start there, then move up to like before school starts. Do not send your child to school with thinking that they're going to learn everything. Create that learning environment at home. It could be as small as a closet and you got some posters up. But letting that child know that you don't just learn at school, you learn at home, you learn in the community. And then moving on to that elementary and middle school, we have to model it. Even though our life is chaotic, even though it's busy, the power of a 15 minutes changes lives. So if mom and dad come tired from work, cooking dinner, you know what? Let's sit at the table. Mom could be cooking, dad could be cooking, and the child is reading to them. Or vice versa. So really valuing that 15 minutes of let's educate our mind, let's spend some time together. So then, because y'all know about y'all have kids, there's no homework. Texas is a state that believes in no homework. So the parent really doesn't know how their child is doing until they're doing bad.
Yeah.
But if you're spending that 15 minutes of handwriting, reading a book, watching something, then asking those questions, what was the main idea? Well, like things like that. That's how parents can see the gaps and can help them. And when they see gaps, that's what they can call young and vibrant tutoring, because parents are not teachers. And that's okay. But some parents don't know how to help their child.
Okay, RoboCop. Man, I don't know. Yeah, Gregory. I don't know. Maybe you could try your earbuds or something. Yeah, none of that, man. So yeah, I'll let you work on that. But we got a question, and I'm gonna read and let you address.
Awesome.
Okay. Casey, so it's from a good friend, Tanisha. Appreciate you, Tanisha. Hold on, let me mute Gregory. That sounds bad. Tanisha says when you are passionate about what you do and have a love for children, then you get the results she's getting. It shows she's not just there for the paycheck, and that's an important distinction, right? Some people do it for the paycheck, and and that's not to mean that they can't be successful. But to her point, I think she's absolutely right. When it's a passion of yours, it shows. It shows, right?
Absolutely. That's a really good point, because as I stated earlier, when I walked into that school year, they were already telling me this was a bad kid. And I never believe that when people tell me that, because they're a bad kid with you because how you treat them.
Yeah.
And then also too, when you set the expectation high, kids will strive. But unfortunately, we live in a time where the expectation is average. One thing I tell my parents, the school is going to teach your child how to be average. I'm going to teach your child how to be extraordinary.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I like that. So it sounds like it may not be available for everybody, but I like that you talked about just a moment ago some things that each parent can do individually when they're cooking. 15 minutes. When you think about it, people are tired at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
But 15 minutes is worth it, right? It's going to be an investment that's going to pay off. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. That is another thing is the handwriting. We do a lot of stuff on the computer, and our kids' handwriting is a hot mess. So if as a family, we spend 15 minutes to talk about our day and write it down, that's going to change a whole atmosphere and give your child more of that confidence. And then the parents can also see, hey, what your child gets frustrated about, what are they having a hard time about.
So I keep hearing you talk about confidence. So what's that about?
Well, that's a big one. That is a big one. Glory to God, I come from a family who poured that into me like it wasn't nothing. I am grateful for that, for sure. And so as I learned about myself, and especially like in my 20s, like that's one thing people used to say, like, you got high confidence. And I was like, this is just me. I really didn't know that people didn't have it. Let me put it that way. I didn't know people didn't have it.
Yeah.
And so that when it comes to working with kids, and for example, I'm come from a family, when you mess up, you don't beat yourself up. You find a way to cross it out and move on and figure it out. Versus we're in an environment where kids, their resilience is poor. They mess up, they ready to throw in a towel. They ready to, what's the new word? Crash out.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Let's come back. You have the confidence. You will make mistakes.
Yeah.
And then just having that self-talk to them, even for just small things like how I build confidence, and kids pay attention. So when the kids came into my classroom or even to my tutoring session, they're here. The haircuts, the new hairstyle, I'm boosting up. Oh, you look good today. Oh, I like your new hairstyle.
Yeah.
That was creative. You know, building them up so they can hear positive things. Those are the seeds they need to feel confident and to overcome hard things.
That's excellent. We got a couple more comments. We got some
Hey,
my trusted followers. Good Army buddy. He says, "I hear you, my brother."
let's go.
My sister from another mister, Tamika. Good evening. She's
Hey, Tamika.
and I know you know this guy right here, right?
Let's go, Mr. Scott.
I met him a couple times. Real good guy. Tamika.
Yes.
She says, "Yes, indeed. Confidence should start at home and should be normalized in our children." I'll let you respond to that.
And you know what? I feel you, Tamika. It really should be, but unfortunately, what's happening too, our kids are being isolated. Our kids, I have to tell my sons, I have a 16-year-old. I said, hey, you are influenced more by other people than me, than your parents. And so we have to remind them of, let's go back to the word, okay? Let's go back to why God created you. That also is a way to build up confidence and just planting those seeds. Like, you are powerful, you are beautiful, you can do hard things. That's what they remember. Yeah. Even though it's so loud, but still to this day, I'm so grateful for children just contacting me or when I see them, they appreciate confidence. And every class that I taught, I wrote confidence on the board, and I wanted them to ask me, what is confidence?
Really?
And then we'll start having those conversations, things like that. But yeah.
So just little things like that makes a world of difference, sound like.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
So one of the things that also hear you is you talking about confidence and think about some of the comments. When you are tutoring the kids, how much do you take into account their parents, like their home environment? Do you ask those questions to try to figure out, like, hey, it's not just you, maybe it's the parents, and maybe I need to get a hold of the parents and bring them in as well?
Absolutely. That's a big part. I also have background as a Child Protective Service investigator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the home environment is very important. And what I realized when I was an investigator, that unfortunately a lot of families have a fixed mindset because that's just how their environment been. That's how they be autopilot. And so how I come in is give them a growth mindset, help them see it differently, and also help them see their child from a different lens, because we come from a lot. I'm the parent, you're the child, but that development age is so important. Like, this is for the teenagers, because that's been really on my heart. Teenagers are really, they're growing up, right?
Yeah.
And in the development, their brain, their is purposely shutting down when a parent is telling them to do something. Why? Because they're in that stage of, I gotta find my own independence. Yeah. I gotta figure out like my authority in this world. So parents wanna, hey, do this, do that. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of that. And I tell parents, like, hey, say it one time, and then give yourself grace.
Yeah.
So yeah, just bringing them a whole perspective. And I love lighting up a family.
Yeah.
They come to me and maybe beat down. The teacher probably told them all this bad stuff about their kids, but I find that light and just give it back to them, and then they see it from a different perspective. And what's most important, we actually work together, because I'm only in their lives for 2 to 3 hours out the week. Parents, I need y'all to do your part. I'm going to do my part and give you the information, but when I'm not there, y'all need to be going over those timetables. Y'all need to be reading for 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So as we welcome Gregory back, hey, appreciate you for joining us again, brother. But what we're going to do is go to a commercial break, and after the commercial break, we come back and continue the discussion here.
Okay, sounds good.
Gregory.
Yes, here I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, okay. All right, yeah. So one moment while we go to the commercial break, and we'll be right back.
All right.
Real men talk. If I had a group of brothers that I could confide in, a group of brothers that encourage me to be the best man possible, that hold me accountable for actions, but brothers that won't beat me down when I fall short. If I had brothers like that in my life, I'd open up more about my challenges. I wouldn't be afraid of being vulnerable and transparent. I'd be more deliberate in my actions and not scared of failure. I wouldn't act like everything is okay when I'm hurting inside. Sometimes it seems like there's an all-out assault from the world on black men, and hurtful words from my lady cut deep. I can't show my pain, 'cause if she knew that she hurt me, she would do it over and over again, hoping that each time cut deeper than the last. I do understand that women have challenges too. That's why I work so hard to be the strength she needs. But I need a band of brothers who understand that sometimes I simply want them to listen. Sometimes I need advice, but other times I need a shoulder to lean on. I need a band of brothers that create a safe space that gives us all a chance to talk about our fears. Because it's therapeutic when real men talk. Real men talk. Real men talk.
I like that.
You like that? That was good, right?
That was
Yeah.
good.
It gets me every time I watch it, the importance and significance of men coming together and to talk. You know, um, the biggest reason for death in black men is suicide.
Oh yeah, I'm reading
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And so I think that it's not just a niceness or a pleasantry, it's a requirement. Men need other men to talk to because we're slowly dying because we
Ooh.
don't get things off our chest, we don't share. Vulnerability is such a hard thing for men. But once we do practice that, what we discover is that all men are pretty much in the same ship. We're all struggling with the same thing, be it finances, physical issues, marital issues, or parental issues.
Mhm.
We tend to see ourselves as deficient because we don't have it figured out. And as you spoke about grace earlier, giving yourself the grace to know that this is just life. This is not a
Yeah.
reflection of your intelligence or your capabilities. Life does it to all of us. Every now and then, you're just going to catch it. You're just going to catch
Mhm.
it. It's going to happen. And so, Real Men Talk is an initiative that we have to encourage men to talk to each other so that we can save each other because we are
Oh, I love
literally
that.
dying because we don't talk. And so we hope to do more with that as the days and weeks progress.
Yeah, no hope. You definitely will be, and we'll be
Yeah, there
reaching
we
out
go.
to you in the comments. Mario, we're gonna be reaching out to you, brother. So be on the lookout.
That's good.
Well, I appreciate y'all sticking with me. I think I'm with you good now, and I'm here for the second
Absolutely.
half of the show. And in this portion of the
Ooh,
show, we are going to talk about sex education. But I
let's
did have
go.
one question I did want to ask you about academics, and that is,
Okay.
what is your opinion around rewarding children monetarily for good grades? Every A you get $10, every B you get five, every C you get $1. Is that a deterrent for learning, or hey, you like that's the way life is? You work, you get paid for it. What's your thoughts around that?
Great question. I'm so for it only if parents reward the small things too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Okay.
only if parents
Say,
reward making a mistake and then proving. Also, let me think about
okay.
give an example. Just like so when I do tutoring, I'm really big on when you make a mistake and you learn from it. Hey, good job, let's try it again, keep it going, encouraging them to do it. So if you're going to celebrate big grand with an A and give you $2,100, make sure you do the small things as well. But if you're only honoring and showing love and getting you ice cream treats and money for when you only get that A, it's really not, to me, it's not really worth it. So I
Mm-hmm.
encourage,
Mm-hmm.
if you do it, make sure you also celebrate the small wins as well.
That's a
Yeah,
good
the
point.
progress. I like
Yeah,
that. That's good.
right, because people
Mm-hmm.
got to realize that our children are becoming adults, and you getting A is like you getting your best job. It doesn't happen overnight. It happened because you are progressing and you are making yourself better. Then we have this grand, uh, event going on.
Right.
But yeah, you have to celebrate the progression
The
so that
improve
the
the Yeah, the
Mhm.
improvement along the way. Yeah, some people have the argument that it deters learning for the sake of learning, that children
Mm,
should be wired in such a way that just the accomplishment of reading a book in of itself is its own reward. I personally think that's great if your child is wired that way. And I think we
that
have to
part.
be honest, yeah, that there are some people who could read a book and go, "Wow, that was just a great story, and that was fulfilling enough." There are some people
Mhm.
who need a little bit more coaxing and go, I will read it, but what's in it for me?"
That part.
Yeah.
Yes,
I should have
I'm
tried
living
that.
that now. I'm living that now. I have two sons. One can do it, get it done. The other one was like, "You got to convince me to read this. You got to tell me the benefits of it before I read it," type of thing.
And funny thing
Yeah.
is, you gotta do that with me now, and I'm an adult.
Ah,
I get it.
I think it's very, I think that's fair, and I think it's very important to be self-aware of your children. And so, talking
for
about being
sure.
self-aware, we're going to transition. We're going to talk a little bit about when to start the birds and the bees with our children. When is too young? When is too old to actually start having those conversations? And so, I remember. So, I have a total of 9 children.
Wow,
Uh,
beautiful.
yeah, collectively, right? Collectively,
Okay.
I am a father figure for nine young people.
Mhm.
And so I remember raising I remember as the children were growing up, it was first we talked about body parts. Let's
Yeah.
identify what is this and what is that. Just to kind of give them a platform. And then we talked about boundaries. What do you
Yes.
feel is like the best introduction to the talk about sex, and also what's a good age to start introducing that conversation?
Okay. So, two things to make it clear for the audience. Talking about sex is not just intercourse. A male and a female is a sex. When you have to put someone on an application, you're saying male or female. So, as your point too, talking about body parts. I'm really big on prevention and the risk. So when a child knows when they're a baby, eyes, nose, ear, we're doing that. So do the same things: eyes, nose, breast, vagina, butt, feet, toes. It's your body because they have to learn how to respect their body, and the only way they're going to learn how to respect their body if they know about it. So
Yeah.
I'm with it as young as when they are potty training. We are talking about your body. We are talking about how to clean it. We're talking about how to keep it safe. Like those are big, and it shouldn't be. Let's not talk about it. But then moving on, when it talks about sex, now the statistics say children are exposed to porn as young as 8 years old.
Wow.
So that
That's
means
terrible.
we need to be talking about that. Hey, sex is for adult activity. When you see two people kissing or their clothes are off on TV, you have to turn it off. That's not for you. Like letting them know that because that's the expectation. And then I'm also big on sex is beautiful. God created people to have sex to reproduce. So we are having real life conversations, but at their age limit. And then when it goes to high school, you not only got to talk about sex, you also have to talk about the risk. And then to put it all together, we talk about the components of sex because it's all about consent. So when you are talking with your young child, hey, do I have permission to hug you? Is it okay for me to hug you? Do you need help or can you do it yourself? Like cultivating that conversation early on. So as they grow up and they're in an intimate relationship, and when it comes to sex, they're able to say, no, I don't like it. Yes, it's okay. Things like that. So
Wow,
talk early.
you said a whole lot of stuff I want to jump into, but I think
Okay.
all of it is great. All of it is great. I think also one of the hurdles most parents have to get over is getting comfortable with themselves about talking about sex, because there are a lot of adults who feel uncomfortable saying
Very.
penis and vagina
Yeah.
and those type of terms, that it just kind of feels cringy for them. But
Mhm.
I think it's important, correct me if I'm wrong here, that in order for your child to feel comfortable about sex, you first have to be comfortable talking about sex. And so,
Absolutely.
um, I think the work a lot of times starts with the parents. Like,
Yep.
okay, what's my comfortability about this? How do I view my own body? How
Yep.
comfortable do I feel about my body? And being able to just to be able to express this is my body part. These are my breasts. These are my hips. This is my penis. This is this. This is that. Because the children will have will be curious,
Oh, for
and it's
sure.
right. And so a lot of times, I know I can remember when I was young, when you asked a question just out of curiosity, it
Mhm.
was met with correction. You know,
Uh-huh.
you shouldn't be asking that question. Stay in the child's place, and
Yeah.
then you're left in the dark, and then you're left to the kids on the
Your
playground
friends.
to tell
Yeah.
you what that thing actually is,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
don't know, right? So I
Mhm.
think the parents first have to get comfortable with sexuality for themselves and making it
Absolutely.
comfortable in the household, right?
Mhm. I
Yeah.
agree to that. Parents have to unlearn some behaviors. Parents have to unlearn that sexual abuse is not okay.
Hmm.
Parents have to unlearn. I mean, parents then once they unlearn those things, then they have to learn how to keep their child safe.
Yeah,
So
and I
yeah,
think
that's
mixed
very
up in
important.
that too is not just parents that are uncomfortable with having the discussion as much as they are unaware of how to have it.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
using the
Mm.
word penis or
Yeah.
vagina. Like, I know you can use other words, but so how do you recommend, or how would you give someone some advice on word choice, or other materials to possibly use?
Yeah. Um, Good question. So with that, the first thing that was coming to my mind, also parents are afraid of the responses.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The parents that I talk to, they are afraid of the responses. And then also it's hard for them to process. So two things that I tell parents: don't ask any other question, but tell me more. Tell me more. Okay, tell me more. And then you have to swallow that and say, okay, baby, that was enough. You go to your room, I go to my room. Then you go to your husband, your friend. Girl, my child is talking about he watching porn. You do that with them. But with your child, you do have to keep that composure, because as soon as you act too left or too right, then that prevents the child from coming to talk to you. Uh,
Mm,
and then
that's a
so
good point.
and for parents, honestly, you just gotta really it's not the birds and the bees conversation at one time. Check that out. It's ongoing conversation. And so what I suggest parents have the conversation in the car. The kid in the back seat, we going from school, and then we go home. So that's about a 7-minute conversation. So for 7 minutes, if your stomach gotta be boiling and cringing, you can get through about a car ride, and just ask those questions. It's not necessary the eye contact, so it's not as intense. If the child does say something that's outlandish, the parent is driving, so they ain't about to reach back and slap them or anything. So we're driving. But for parents who are struggling or don't know how to do it, the first thing I say is start today. It could be as small as, hey, what are kids saying about sex? What do you know
Oh
about
wow.
sex? Or hey, I was talking to my friend, and my friend told me her 8-year-old was watching porn. You know what porn is, baby? And it just goes from that, because they want to know. They want to know.
Hey Gregory, I think we should get from Casey a list that we can share with our audience. Like, I think there's something that's practical. Like, what are maybe 10 questions to start a conversation, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Can we
Yeah,
get
that
that?
sounds like a great idea. That sounds like a great
absolutely.
idea.
Okay.
You
I know.
know,
Yeah, I need it.
You need
you
it.
need
Okay, I got you.
it.
I got you. I got you. Because also, it's not, what people have to realize is that it's not as hard as you think. Because just like if your child comes to you and say, my arm is broken, you're gonna rush to figure out how to heal it. So it needs to be the same as, my breast is growing, mom. My butt is getting bigger, dad. My penis hurt. Like, it has to be just as comfortable as that, because we are respecting our bodies, and every body part works. And then how I send it to me now. I got you, bro. And then for the parents who are like, absolutely not, I'm not doing it. They can do it when they're older. My mama, my daddy didn't talk to me about it. I'm fine. And so then I tell them about the facts. 1 in 4 girls will be sexually abused before their 18th birthday.
Terrible.
One in how many?
1 in 4 girls will be sexually abused before their 18th birthday. I got a few more. 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before their 18th birthday. And then the average age somebody reports child sexual abuse. Oh, let's ask the audience. What do y'all think is the average age that somebody reports child sexual abuse? What's the average age? Because I'm ready to blow y'all minds.
So, yeah, that's a good one. So while the audience is get ready,
You said
Gregory,
what?
13.
13, okay.
I'm gonna say in their 20s.
In their 20s, okay.
Yeah. And we got the audience, and there's a little lag, so we got to give them a few moments for them to put it in. But the question again is, what's the average age you think people are by the time they report sexual abuse? Abuse, yeah. So we got a few people finally starting to come in. We got Lauren.
Okay, hey Lauren.
5. Okay.
Oh, she said 5. Oh, Jesus, I wish.
Yeah. Tamika says in the 40s.
We got 40s, okay.
Yeah, the Mario said in the 30s. I said in their 20s. Gregory, you said what again?
13.
Okay, drum bro. The number is 50. Look at your eyes. The number is 50. The average age someone is reporting or telling someone about their child's sexual abuse is 50 years. So for the parents who are nervous about talking to their children about their bodies and how to keep them safe, do you want your child to be suffering 50 years of their lives, not knowing how to ask for help when someone's abusing them, not knowing to know how to protect their bodies?
Yeah.
Wow, I misunderstood the question. I thought like, when does it first occur? But okay, I got you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. To answer that, it happens as young as an infant.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm thinking about also, not just the torment for them as they hold it in for that many years and unaddressed trauma, but I'm thinking about the people that they're responsible for, the people they are raising, their interaction with other people, their distrust for people, not just for people, but even the system. And we talked a little bit about that earlier. It's like what makes people not report it. I don't know if you're prepared to speak on that, but there's a number of things like what would make someone wait till they're 50 years old to report it. And I say that because a lot of people, they hadn't been through it. They'll say, you should have said something. You should have said something. And it make people feel guilty and like it's their fault.
Yeah. So you really just answered your question. One thing is that person feels guilty. Also, we live in a society where people think, oh, only strangers abuse people. No. 95% of the predators is someone that child knows, loves, and cares about.
Trusted.
Yes, that trusted adult that they care about. Yeah. And then what happens is, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. The predator, they will say things such as, keep it a secret. If you tell somebody, I'm going to hurt your mom, I'm going to hurt your daddy, no one's going to believe you. So they're planting those seeds in that child's head so that they won't do. So that's why I'm very bold and audacious about it, so that the predators, because they're really stupid. Predators are stupid. And so I want kids to know to say, no, I don't like this. No, I am going to tell my dad. No, I am going to go to the police. What you're doing, I don't like it. I don't feel comfortable about it. So that's the mission that I am on. But the biggest thing is that they believe that it's their fault. They believe that nobody's going to believe them. And also, too, the kid will tell somebody, and that first person don't believe them, so they believe nobody will.
Yeah. And another part too, Gregory, if I could jump in real quick on this, is the reason they don't believe. And we talked about this, is that sometimes when you look and see some of our chief offenders are in positions of power. And it's actively being covered up. And I just think about a victim of sexual assault, sexual abuse, and they look and see the powers that be, one who have been put in positions to protect them, being their chief offenders. Why would they be willing to speak out? Especially when you see people covering for them.
Yeah. The willingness is not there because the education is not there. Yeah. Those conversations with families, that trusted adult, they don't have. And also too, it's been going on. It's been a generational curse. It's been happening. And so then the family adapts to it and think it's okay and think it's like, oh, you'll get over it. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the big reasons why. And the predator will put in their head, nobody was going to believe you. Why? Because I'm such this good person. Nobody's going to believe you. I'm the oldest person in the family. Nobody's going to believe a little kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think along with that conversation requires a lot of direction from the adult. And number two, I like what you said earlier about if giving the child the autonomy and the confidence to rebuke an adult. So if a child doesn't want to hug an adult, they should not have to. And so a lot of times I remember when my daughters were young, we would go to family reunions, they would meet uncles and aunties that they didn't know. And the first thing the adults would want to do is reach out and hug them. Well, this is a stranger to them. And just because you are a family member doesn't give you the permission to touch my body. It's something that I taught my daughters. And I told them I will always stand in front of you or stand aside you if you wanted to say no to a hug. You have the right to say no to a hug. Absolutely. And I think that a lot of times, even especially in the Black community, we think that is the sign of a misbehaving disrespect. Thank you. A disrespectful child. Like, this is your auntie, this is your uncle. Go ahead and give them a hug. The answer is no. If you don't want anyone touching your body, I think children should have the ability to say no, thank you, or a handshake, or just a hello. Just say hi. Just have a conversation. You don't have to touch the child's body. And I think especially with girls, because that then kind of programs the young girls to think that this is what natural greetings are. When a man greets me, then he has to get close to me. That intimacy is required upon a greeting. And we want to try to change those thinkings to order to protect our children. And it requires parents to say, hey, listen, Auntie, Aunt Sarah, Aunt whoever, no, you can't touch her. She said no. The answer is no. And you have to be willing, for the sake of your child, to be looked at as the bad guy, to have that uncomfortable moment. She said no hugs. That's right? It.
Yeah. From an educational standpoint, it seems sometimes ridiculous that you got to teach these things. But I'm just thinking about even in church, we make jokes like, oh man, she gave me the church hug. But there are things that you can real life do. And I think you should teach people know how to back up. Yeah. How to put space, how to, and not just the adult, but unfortunately, you got to teach the kid that too, right?
Absolutely.
I personally think unless it's your husband or unless it's your spouse, everybody should get a church hug.
Hey, I feel that too. Yeah. Hey, good. There's two things that I did want to bring up. One thing why I love God, because he loves his children. And so for one, children have good discernment. So if a child feels a way where they don't want to hug them, there is a reason. And it may not even be that person is abusive, but they have something in their spirit that's not aligning with the child. And that's okay for a child to say, I don't feel right. Or their initial response is, no, thank you, or I don't want that. So that's one thing that parents have to realize. And that's what I'm big on too. When I do my tutoring sessions, I do a meet and greet first. I want the child to fill me out, see how I am. And so then when I leave, go tell your mom, go tell your daddy, yeah, I like Miss Williams, or I ain't feeling her. Because they have the best discernment. And then the other part is that what I teach people is, especially kids, trust your instinct. That gut feeling you feel when you're in a room and you're uncomfortable, that's real. And kids have to know that. So when they are unsafe and when that hair crawls up on your skin to letting you know your environment, like something is about to happen, it ain't right. I teach kids how to do that. So when they are unsafe, they can know. And then the parent could be like, hey, what's going on? The parent, because the kids might not have the verbiage. Right. But on the flip side, teaching the parents on how to read body language. A kid will say, no, it didn't happen, but their head is saying yes. Yeah. When you ask a kid a question about being unsafe, they may be chilling like this. But as soon as you ask them something that happened to them, they may start closing their arms. So parents have to be aware of those things, because predators, they're grooming.
Yeah.
They're absolutely grooming.
You know, as we talk about having conversations with our kids about their bodies and educating them about sex, it's also important to answer the question that's being asked.
Woo!
There's this funny story about a little boy going to his dad and saying, "Dad, where do babies come from?" And so dad sits the son down and they have this 3 hour discussion about the birds and the bees. And after those 3 hours are over, the son looks at the dad and said, "Dad, I just want to know what hospital I was born at." And so it's important that you actually get the clarity around what the child is asking, right?
That's
And so
it.
yeah, because we like to segue. We like to go, okay, hey, dad, my voice is getting deeper. I'm starting to get hair under my chest, a hair under my arms. Like, what's going on? And then we have like this 3 hour discussion about everything from head to
Yeah.
toe, instead of just talking about the question that was being asked. Like, yeah, you're getting older, you're going to get hair under your arms, the hair on your chest, and even on your chin. You know, it's going to happen. And let that be the
That's it.
conversation. Yeah.
Let's be it.
Yeah.
That's spot on, and that's what I meant by earlier. That's where the ongoing conversation. Let's have this 15-minute conversation that you're stepping into manhood. You're going to have hair underneath your arm and facial hair. Okay, you see my transition. Talk about it a little bit. I like to relate it to science. We literally have hormones in our body that are performing on the outside, and these are also why we have. And so then they can connect their connections and make sense in their head. But you are spot on. Answer the question and be short. And then tomorrow, add a little more. And then the next day, add a little more.
Yeah, yeah. It's a never-ending conversation,
Yeah,
much
it's
like
not.
the conversation about God, the conversation about race. We never stop talking about God. We never stop talking about race, and so we never finish talking about sex,
Yeah.
because questions are always going to come up and develop. So
Absolutely.
even after once you're done exploring all the things biologically, you got the things emotionally that are attached, as you
Ooh.
said earlier. I also want to stress that, or hear your thoughts around talking about sex with your children is not condoning sex. And so a lot of times parents have the idea, like, if I bring up condoms and
Yeah.
the pill, then I'm kind of giving my child permission to
Yeah.
go ahead and do it. And I don't want to give them permission to do it, but I do want them to be protected at the same time. So what are your thoughts about, is talking about sex with your children condoning them to have sex?
Absolutely not. It is not condoning them. It's actually keeping them safe. And even when a child be like, "Oh, mom, dad, auntie, grandma, I don't want to talk about this," then you reframe it. Well, I just want to keep you safe. I know
Hmm.
it's going to
Hmm.
happen. You're growing up to be an adult. And so having that conversation, no, it does not condone them. And one of the big components of it all is talking to them about consent. We got to have this conversation, because when someone tries something, or when you're in a relationship and you don't feel comfortable, you got to be able to voice it. So it's not condoning them, it's actually protecting them. It's also helping them a critical think about things before they actually do. And then what my favorite thing is that you go find out on the internet by your friends about sex and all that, but where your home is and you're talking about that is so important, because when you are unsafe, I want you to come to me. When you are having a question about this boy, this girl did this, I want you to talk to me. Quick story, really quick. My son started to date. He came home with a hickey on his neck. We like, what happened? Tell us more. He didn't even know what was happening to his body. He didn't even know his girlfriend put a hickey on his neck. He
Mm.
didn't know. And so him and I, we just sat down and talked about it. We talked about the emotional side. We talked about the scientific side, that somebody is sucking on your skin and causing a blood clot potentially. Like, having that is so real, because they are exposed to it. And then I told him, I said, it sounds like she didn't ask you to do that. But if you want to give her a hickey, you have to ask her permission. Don't just go for it. So just stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, great stuff, great stuff. You know, I think also there's a big conversation needs to be had around the urges, because there's a
Ooh,
lot of,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of thought around how do we talk about urges. There's a lot of old school, at least the way I was brought up, even the thought of sex or the urge and desire was considered
Mm,
bad.
Yeah.
And a lot of the language that we used around sex in my generation had a negative connotation. I remember when there was a love scene in a movie, my parents referred to the love scene as the nasty part. Right?
Yeah,
And
I remember
so
that.
whenever, yeah, or that's that nasty magazine. They do nasty things, or they're
Mm-hmm.
doing bad. And so sex always had like some kind of
Yeah,
seedy, dirty kind of
I
connotation
hate it.
from the older generation as it was spoken to me. So it leads you to think this is something that's private. You got to hide it. You
You
got to
got,
be secret about it. You can't
yeah,
freely discuss it. And so the conversation about urges, I think, is important to let our children know the urges you have are natural and
yeah.
God given.
Yes, talk
How
about it.
we satisfy those can lead to complexities in our life, can
Spot
lead
on.
to the challenges, can lead to things, consequences that you don't necessarily want. So, for a little girl to like a boy to think he's cute, to want to hold his hand, to maybe even want to kiss, is perfectly natural.
That's wrong.
But we have to know when it's appropriate. We have to
Yes, ma'am.
know when you're able to handle the consequences that come with that, and
Yeah,
not even pregnancy and or disease, which is a consequence.
for
But
sure.
what if he doesn't like you back? What if those feelings aren't
How you deal with
mutual?
that?
Like, how are you going to rebound? So talk to us a little bit about how do you feel we talk to our kids about their natural urges and not making them feel bad about it.
Yeah, absolutely. This conversation hit home for me probably by like when I really started educating and going into rooms and having these conversations. I had a cousin who reached out to me. He was probably like eighth grade, and so I'm here in Texas in my early 20s, and he said that he feels bad that he is masturbating. He feels disgusted when he is masturbating. And so then I
Mhm.
had to reel him in. And as you spoke to, like, those urges are natural. And so what him and I talked about, I was like, okay, when you masturbate, you need to be in a private room by yourself. You need to make sure that you aren't showing anybody your penis. Just prepping him for it because it's happening. And I never want any child to think any part of their body is nasty. It's
All right.
disgusting. So it's very important to have those conversations. Also talking about pleasure, because what's happening is that kids are watching a lot of porn. Why? Because it's accessible. So they see all these porn acts, they see all this aggressive sex, they see all these fake penises, and like all it
It just
gets
arouses something in them, right? That they're
absolutely,
not ready for. They're not ready to handle yet. Right.
absolutely. Then having to tell them like,
Yeah.
okay, hey, let's break. Porn is fake. It's not
Hmm.
real. Let's talk
Hmm.
about that, and then also talk about. I asked a simple question: what does pleasure feel like to you? Is it a touch? Is it a high five? Is it a shake? Is it words of affirmation? Like exploring those things so that when they are in those intimate settings, they know what they like and what they don't like. They're able
All
to
right.
communicate that was too much or I didn't like that. Or, hey, mom or dad, I was in a situation and I didn't feel comfortable, but I didn't tell the other person, but I'm telling you, how do I handle it? So things like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
to talk
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it was really unfortunate that kids are getting exposed to this adult material too long
Ooh,
because what it does, it just creates a distraction, right? It awakens something that is not ready to
shouldn't
be
be.
awakened yet, right? And so because um, we have these biological responses to certain triggers, they
Yeah.
fall prey to it, right? And not because
Oh,
they're bad or dirty or
right.
evil. It's just simple science. It's just simple biology, and it just wires the brain in such a bad way. And then there comes the discussion around self-discipline.
Yeah.
People have belief systems around what is appropriate, what's not appropriate, what should be avoided, what is okay to engage in, and what's not. But and so that conversation of what is safe for you, you
Yeah.
know, what can you tolerate and still be a healthy, productive individual needs to be had also. That all of this is great. One of the things though that
Good.
we have to be honest with is that sometimes kids don't always want to hear it from their parents
Oh,
because
yeah.
they don't want to think parents have done the thing that they're talking to the kids about, right? So
Hmm.
it's uncomfortable no matter who your parents are.
For sure.
You're even the coolest parents in the world are not cool to their own kids.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
How important is it to have a tribe around you of people who would say the same thing as you would say to your kids, and your kids could hear it better?
Yeah, that is so important to not only just have a tribe around you to model healthy relationships, but because
Hmm.
before you become intimate, kids should be able to see how people talk to each other, how
Hmm.
they engage with each other. Then on a higher level is how they flirt with each other, how they set boundaries with their significant other. So those things are really, really important. So I encourage parents to do
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
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 without.
Hey Gregory, yeah. So we
Yep.
coming up time. So what we're gonna do? Let's go through some of these comments in here,
Oh, we
and
got
then
some
Hmm.
comments.
yeah,
Let's
yeah, we got
go.
quite a few. A lot of them saying hello, but they got to go up here a little bit. We got Tamika said right, involve the parents, and that was some of what we was talking about,
Yeah.
even on the educational side, right? Academics, but this is sometimes to Gregory's point, the parents don't feel comfortable, but they are. Would you both agree that parents are the first line of defense when it
Yeah.
comes to addressing these issues? And so,
Mhm.
why don't y'all both take a moment to stab and speak on that?
I
Uh,
always think that your child may not be comfortable talking with you, but your child should always know you're going to give them the truth, right? And
Mm.
so, even if it's cringeworthy, even if it's uncomfortable, I know when I code a dad
yeah.
is going to keep it real with me. Dad keeps it 100. That I know if dad is saying it, I can trust it. And
Yeah,
so,
that's good.
even if it's something that they don't want to hear, what we want to be as the parent is the source of truth.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. You want to
Yeah.
Yeah.
add anything to that, Casey?
Yeah, I definitely spot on and agree with you. And then when it comes to parents as well, create that safe place. You gotta create a safe environment for your kids to talk about anything.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and this one right here, it was like in the Real Men Talk commercial. Tamika
Yes,
says, "You better come with it." Demario said, "We need a safe place and dialogue." But the Real
absolutely.
Men Talk. Sometimes, if men want to be honest, we rather the our female counterparts to have that conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Gregory, maybe you
You can
can
speak of that.
speak on that, like how important it is for men to be present and involved in these conversations.
What about sex?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that we don't talk enough about also what a man's sexual experiences are like for him.
Ooh, good.
We men are trapped in a box now that's all we think about, that we're too carnally natured, and that we can't think beyond our pants, and which is not true. But we
Right.
do receive a lot of validation. We do receive a lot of appreciation through physical intimacy. That is definitely a love language for every man. It's
Mhm.
not because we are in some ways Neanderthals or not evolved human beings. It's
Right.
just simple biology, the way
That's
God has
it.
wired us.
yeah.
Physical intimacy, that connection recharges us.
For
And I
sure.
think if we could get to a place where that is honored and respected and not looked at as some type of deficit, then we can have more real and more honest conversations.
Absolutely,
True. I
absolutely.
want to chime in really quick
Yeah,
because as y'all see my passion about it and my experience, when I met my husband, he was like, girl, what? Talk to my kids about what? I haven't talked to them about sex until 5 years ago. So honestly, when we first started dating, I was like, talk to them about condoms. Talk to them about how to carry themselves and to make sure their hygiene is right, how to care for their body parts. And so once I challenged him to do it, then when he did it, he was like, oh, that wasn't that bad.
it wasn't that bad,
It
huh?
wasn't that bad. And then secondly, especially when a father comes in and do it, the kid remembers. Like still to
Yeah,
this day, my
yeah.
kids will talk about, I remember when dad talked to me about this. That's so good. And then when they become a teenager, to hear it from both perspectives, because they're going to be the opposite sex, either dating a woman or vice versa. And so for them to hear from both sides,
Yeah,
that holds
Right.
a lot of value and helps them make better decisions.
that's good. That's
So
good.
daddies, do it, do it,
Do
do
it,
it, do
man.
it.
Meet your men, get involved. So the
Yeah.
Mario said we was unpacking a lot. Then he said, "Send it to me." So that's that list that we was asking you.
Okay, yep,
You know,
I wrote it down.
Well, how many you gonna give us? 10, 15? What you gonna?
Honestly, I'm just gonna give you 5.
You gonna give us 5 good
I'm
conversation
yeah,
starters, right? Okay.
good conversation
Yeah.
starters.
Mika
Absolutely.
said, "Let me get my bail money together." Yeah.
Now, no, we don't want you to get the bail
Yeah.
money
I don't
yet.
want you to go to jail, but I get it. You know, just in seriousness about this, being able to maintain your cool should you find out that your child was harmed. Because
Yeah.
I know you want to act out, but what good is it if you're locked up and can't even protect them any
Or
longer?
even too, I'm glad you brought that up. Parents, for real, this is just an awareness. When your child outcries to you and tell them that they have been sexually abused, you only say, "I can help you," or "I'm going to get you help." Don't ask if it was true or not. Don't try to ask probing questions. Allow them to, especially that first interaction, because that's going to set the tone for everything.
Yeah.
Because also parents have to realize that abuse, just naturally, we talk about like our natural environment, they will go back to it.
Oh wow.
They will go back to it. And so if you create that boundary where you are showing empathy and not, "I'm going to kill that person, I'm going to beat them up," and that ain't gonna work. You either say, "How can I help you more?" or you be quiet. But the responses, don't even do that initially, because that could break that response and also could give more leverage to the predator.
So it's important to be under control, calculated, if
Yes.
you will. Yeah.
Yes.
To add more color to that, it's important to care about the child's well-being, because the child is also confused. One of the components about molestation that sometimes confuses children is that they could think that there's something wrong with me because they found the activity pleasurable.
Yeah.
What we know is just biologically there are certain things you can do to the body and the body will receive pleasure from it.
Absolutely.
And so the child will interpret, well, I liked it, so does that make me bad?
Yeah.
And we have to separate, no, that was inappropriate behavior, but it was because biologically you're just wired for this. And so we need to really make the well-being of the child the first focus, and then the repercussions second.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
Jamila said being scared to speak up. We was talking about how do people wait till they're 40 and 50 years old to report it.
Yeah. Being scared, and the shame is a big one too.
Yeah, and the shame, absolutely, and guilt, right? Yeah,
everybody gets a hair shame.
Talking about that church.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
And Tamika also said the discernment, so make sure we trust it. So yeah, we went over a little bit. We appreciate everybody in the audience, and we make sure we get to them. But this is the time where, man, we lean and punt it to Gregory. He always leaves us with some good nuggets to take home with. So while he does that, we're going to ask you, KC, to get yours ready too, because we're going to ask you to give us some good encouraging words to take back home and how to be better players in our family and the community.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, tonight I want to leave the parents with a parenting hack that I did, and I found it to be very beneficial. So I tell every parent to do this. I think it's a good hack to have. I want every parent to go to Walmart and grab a cheap 99-cent notebook and get your child a pen and call it their safe notebook. And what I did for my children was I promised my children this: whatever you write in this notebook, I promise you, you will not get in trouble for. Whatever you want to say, write it down. Whatever you're feeling, write it down. Whatever question you have, write it down. And I promise you, with my hand over my heart, whatever you write in this notebook, there will be no punishment for it. I made that promise to my children, and I kept that promise to my children. And all while they were living under my roof, they had a notebook, and whatever they felt, they were able to write it down and get it out and express it. And the moments that they wanted to share something with me, it was a true bonding moment, and they felt safe knowing this is in my safe notebook, and what you promised me that I won't get in trouble for it. So whatever it may be it issues with myself, be it issues with themselves, or there's a circumstance that's bigger than them, they knew at this moment, I am safe. I can get it out. So I want to encourage kids when it comes to
oh man, he was on the road. Look,
he was. He had like one sentence left.
Hey, I'm don't know Gregory was a preacher. I think he was in preaching mode. There you go. We got him back.
There I go.
Okay.
There I go.
Woo!
So hey, get a safe notebook for
Safe
your
notebook, I
children.
like that.
Let them know whatever they write, they can feel safe knowing that if they choose to share, there's no punishment that's going to follow. And I think that will open up the door for academic struggles or struggles of inappropriate behavior that they feel like now I'm covered in front of mom and dad. Keep that promise to them. It's written down in their notebook. There's no punishment.
That's good.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that some more on my part. But go ahead, KC. It's on you.
All right. First and foremost, thank you kindly for allowing me to be in the room and have this conversation. My biggest takeaway, for one, when it comes to learning, really hone in on that 15 minutes. We have lives that are chaotic. We scroll for 2 hours, but 15 minutes of focus time will help your child in the long run. So please do that. If you need help with creating that focus time, creating that 15 minutes, you definitely can contact me. I have a handful of parental hacks. And then when it comes to talking to their children about sex and how to keep their bodies safe, have that conversation in the car. That could be a safe place for you all to bring up hot topics, or for if a child is having a hard time and not able to communicate what they're going through, and the key word is, hey, let's get in the car. That means let's get in the car. I got something to tell you, and then to relate to you. You'll be safe, you'll be okay, but I want you to know this is our safe place. And then lastly, you can do it. You can do it. Don't let social media, don't let your past deter you from keeping your children safe and from keeping them to become extraordinary, because school's not enough either.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. That was poetic.
How can people reach out to you, Casey, if they wanted to get in contact with you?
Absolutely. So you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Young and Vibrant. Search the hashtag, search Young and Vibrant Tutoring on Facebook. Also have a YouTube channel that teaches children how to keep their mind, body, and soul safe. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out. I love answering questions. I love pouring into parents, and most important, I'm here for the kids. I'm a big kid myself, and the kids love me, and I love them. And one day they're gonna rule this world. So I want them to have good seeds in their minds and bodies and souls. So Young and Vibrant, inc.com, Young and Vibrant on Instagram, Young and Vibrant on YouTube, Young and Vibrant on Facebook.
That's dope. That's dope.
Excellent.
Where are you from in the States, Casey?
I'm originally from Indiana.
Okay, I was going to guess the Midwest. Was you
really?
Yeah.
Good. Yep. Born and raised. But I've been in Texas for 11 years next month.
Wow. Cool. So a couple of things real quick. We always make sure we give people some nuggets to take off, aside from the great information that y'all shared. Should anyone deal with any of these issues and they need resources, just want to share this visual right here. And it just some couple pointers, some things to know. Look out for signs: sudden changes in behavior, secrecy, anxiety or withdrawal, unexplained gifts, money, and new devices. And that's important because you were talking earlier about grooming kids. I remember one of the January 6th guys that Trump pardoned, he got about a month or so ago. He was he molested an 11-year-old boy. And one of the things he told him is that, hey, Trump is going to let us sue the government, and I'm going to have millions of dollars, and I'm going to leave you some of the money. He bought the little boy an iPhone, would take him to dinner, all kinds of things. So, those unexplained gifts and money and new devices can be very telling. Then attempts to avoid certain people or places. All of a sudden they don't want to go around certain people that they used to go around, or, a fear of going to certain places that could be a sign too. They got these resources right here. Use tools and resources. You got the National Sex Offender Registry.
Check that. Check it.
Definitely. You need to know who's in your neighborhood, and you'll find out, especially, in this vibrant dating world, people, you never know who people are bringing around you right now. You know, you hear the story about Nicki Minaj and her some of her family members, right?
Yeah.
But you just never know. Download the FBI Child ID app, FBI.gov. You can go to Bing and search that, and also report suspicious behavior to cyber.org. And then there's the hotline right there. We got to make sure that we are giving people the resources, the know-how, the understanding. And just one other thing before I end that piece right there. I dealt with this a little bit in the military. And what we learned is that once we increased the ability to report, the number of reports went up. So that didn't mean that there were more incidents. It's just people felt safe and was able to report these incidents. So sometimes that needs to be, or not all, sometimes that needs to be part of the discussion as well, that they know how to report any issues should the parent, the guardian is not around too. So
I agree.
It's good information. So thank you both.
Can I just add one thing? Because the Holy Spirit is speaking to me.
Come on, Holy Spirit.
Yeah, real clearly. When it comes to grooming, parents, this is for you. Check your children's food apps, the DoorDash. It's so important because what's happening as well is that predators are grooming. Hey, I'll buy you some food. And you know the kids want some free food. They want some food that's out. Me personally, like for my kids, we try to avoid eating out as much. But I bet if somebody be like, hey, I'm going to buy you some Whataburger, they going to say yeah. So check your children's DoorDash to figure out who's giving them food. Because also, if it's sent to your home, your address is getting exposed to people.
Yeah.
So
that's good. That's real good.
Tap into those things. Once again, predators, they're being sneaky, but they're stupid. And we can overcome that by when it happens one time or just keeping our children accountable that you don't accept food from anybody.
Yeah.
Because that's a new way of grooming.
That's good. That's good. So Tamika also was gracious enough to share your website is youngandvibrant.com. So if people go to their website, what can they expect? Or how should they navigate it to get in touch with you?
Yeah. So on the website, it has a contact page. Put in your name and email, and it will come to me, and then I will follow up, and we will go from there. But yes, if you need active tutoring, you can reach DM me as well, and then we'll do the same process. But please.
Awesome. You know, I want to say thank you to you for doing what you do. I think this is a special journey and a special path that you're on. And I love the passion and enthusiasm you have about it. You can tell that you're not just doing this for a paycheck, but I can tell that you do this because you actually care about this work. And we need more people like you out there who actually care about the work and are willing to invest in our children. Because like you said, they're going to be running the place one day, right? And so we want to make sure they get good, solid foundation at the very start. And so thank you for being you and doing what you do. We really appreciate it so much. And thank you for joining us tonight too.
Yay. Anytime. Call me up. My pleasure.
All right.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. We say keep the comments coming. All three of us will look into those comments, and you might just get a reply from one of us. So hey, keep commenting as you watch. If you're watching it today, if you're watching it next week, next month, or even next year, still leave us a comment, and we will try our best to get back to you. But hey, we love you so much. Thank you for watching. We couldn't, and we wouldn't want to do it without you. So until next time, we love you. Peace, love, hair grease, and we out.
Won't need another, this one here really do it for you. Baby,